Howdy, and welcome to the Feed Bandit Podcast, where we have fun talking all things hunting, and in the process, do our best to support small and family-owned businesses in the hunting space. Here are your hosts and resident bandits, Jimmy Byrne and Richard Kinchlow.
I like to talk about mine, and I'd like to talk about some of the stuff that was different from the last couple seasons. This year we were so much success in calling in gobblers.
Mm-hmm. I think I'll probably keep that in. So howdy, folks. Welcome to the Feed Bandit Podcast. I hit record while we were still discussing what we're going to talk about in this episode. So you kind of know where we're going.
You just got your official behind the scenes thing, minus all the bad language. So
there you go. So I'm sure no one out there, thought that, oh my God, these guys, they never edit anything. That's like a perfect podcast. Yeah.
Right.
Anyway.
Yeah.
Welcome to the Feed Bandit Podcast, everybody. Jimmy here, with, as always, Richard. He's with me and was laying out the outline for the podcast today. So
yep.
Yeah. Welcome aboard.
Yeah. Thank you very much. Yeah, it's getting to be that dark time of year again, where it gets hotter than you know what, and the water evaporates and the bugs come out, and this is tough, man. This is really tough. Getting into mid-May through about August, it's tough. But we always talk about, again, at least for me, the preparation, the excitement of the season. It's getting louder and louder. The AC/DC song "Thunder" is getting a little bit louder in my ear. And again,
you sure that's not just the rain outside?
Well, it could be. By the time August rolls around, I'll be toned deaf or whatever. I won't be able to hear anything. It'll be crazy.
Yeah. So, there's always stuff to do. Always work to do.
That's true. There's always
fish to catch.
That's true.
Always beer to drink.
Yeah. Pigs to pop. Well, and boy, woo! Let me tell you, the pasture poodles on the Rancho Bandito, they just done at the wrong critter. Well, we'll start. Well, how about we start with that real quick?
Sure.
An unfortunate update live from Rancho Bandito. We lost one of our axis deer to what we think is a coyote. So,
which makes me particularly mad. Because
for sure. Yeah,
it's probably my favorite animal of all time.
Why don't you go kill the pigs?
Well,
go kill the pigs. Don't worry. Why are you messing with the damn axis deer?
Now we're gonna go kill the damn coyotes.
Oh yeah, no, it's on. Unfortunately, this time of year, they're not very susceptible to a lot of baited traps, apparently. And I think that's because of just there's a lot of stuff. There's a lot of scent in the air. This is what I've heard. But they are still susceptible to snares, being shot, which I'm certainly going to help happen. And then they're also susceptible to setting the foothold traps alongside the major travel routes. So coyotes are real territorial. I mean, and so when they basically defecate they take a dump on the road. I don't know why I'm being all proper. They go poop on the road, and then they come back and check it, and that's kind of like their business card, right? So if you go in there and you spray some coyote urine on that on that poop, my pea guard's working tonight. Poop. They will.
There's a pop filter.
Yeah, that's right. They will actually come and they'll say, "Oh, dude, no way." There's Brad's over here peeing in my poop again, and sometimes you can catch them in the leg hole traps. Anyway, but
I tell you, I hope they're still. You mentioned that they're still susceptible to being shot. I rue the day when they're not, because that would be that'd be a major problem.
Right,
that bullet bouncing off them or something.
Right, when they become like self-aware, like Skynet. Oh, terrifying. Great movie, by the way. Great movie. Anyway, so we're gonna continue to kind of bite our lip, and it's gonna get Western, as one of our good friends would say. When it starts to get colder, we're gonna put out cyanide. Yeah, absolutely, cyanide traps. We're gonna do I mean, anything punji sticks, it's
Yeah.
it's going to get freaking nuts. So when you irritate the owner of Rancho El Bandito, you have made a very powerful enemy. So, anyway, that's the really sad news about our Axis. Rip, buddy. I sure hope that your harem is having lots of babies, and we're going to do what we can to protect your kin there, son. So, anyway, whew. All right, so turkey.
So there was your moment of silence right there.
Yep.
Axis.
No, for sure, for Arnold, the Axis. So. Yeah, so for turkey season, so here in Texas, when this is being recorded, we've got a couple of weeks left. I think overall it's been a pretty good season. I haven't heard a whole lot of the birds aren't talking, so on and so forth. At Rancho Bandito, it's been fantastic. We've had a lot of birds, a lot of hens that went to nest. That's fantastic because the gobblers start to get super active, looking for receptive for females, and that's when even the novice turkey hunter can take advantage of a gobbler's lust. So we certainly did that.
Well, he's only a male.
That's true. That's true. But boys would be boys.
That's right.
And so why don't we start with you, Mr. Turkey? So if you haven't figured it out by now, you will soon. Jimmy is a turkey junkie, and the man is a great caller, and he's a great strategist when it comes to turkey hunting. And so this was earlier in the season. He went out and did his deal. I was messing with the kiddos, so I really couldn't go out, and I hadn't heard a lot of gobbling. My father was down at the ranch, and he hadn't heard a lot either. So I wouldn't say I was doubting him, but I was kind of like, good luck, pal. I'll sit in the house and have a cocktail in the AC. And then I get the picture. So I'll let you take it over from there.
Oh, well, thank you. Yeah, let's see. I got down there to the ranch, mid-afternoon or so. So, I had the evening hunt, in front of me. And there's this one spot on the ranch where I appreciate you kind of blowing me up as this amazing turkey hunter and whatnot, but
two fits, man.
But no, there's this one spot that's been kind of the bane of my existence, and the reason why, and I shot a turkey at the spot, and the reason why I like sitting there is because it's a beautiful view, and you can kind of, depending where you sit. You know what I'm talking about, the road on the way to, and it's a beautiful spot. But when you sit there, you can see everything you need to see, more or less, so that you can see one coming in from a decent distance,
Right.
So, I killed one there several years ago. I don't know, more than several years ago now, probably. And then. I think maybe that same season I went back to that spot. Typically I don't like to do that because I want to try to get one at different spots, like not at the exact same spot at least, But I did, and I think that's why when I went there, I don't know, it's the one and only turkey I've ever missed. And missing a turkey to me is, at least for me, is extremely embarrassing. So I'm amazed I'm even admitting to it on this podcast. But I don't know, somehow I did, and I think I didn't aim, properly down the barrel, and all that stuff. I was really excited, and every time I call a turkey in, it makes me nervous. But I remember specifically what happened.
Oh, hold on! Put the brakes on right there. So you do what I do when we deer hunt.
Oh yeah. No, I am you.
Really?
Oh my God, yeah. Because I don't know what it is, but geez. But this guy though, at that time that I missed. Mm-hmm. Like I was saying, the reason why I brought up how you could see it, everything. Well, he ends up coming from directly behind me, out of the sticks.
Gosh.
And he's doing the clicking thing, and everything. And I'm like, okay, but he's still coming. He's coming around, and I'm looking at him like literally 3 feet from me, but out of the corner of my eye because I'm not moving.
Right.
And he's just slowly walking. I'm like, come on, and everything. I'm looking at him. And I could tell that his head was starting to go a little white and everything. He was kind of getting a little leery. I'm like, oh, great. So I think I might have, kind of moved really fast to try to shoot him, and I didn't aim properly, blah, blah, blah. Well, he gets up, he runs a little and tries to fly, and I was like, I cycled one in to try to shoot him, but I missed. And that, of course, that was, like, devastating to me.
Oh
You
yeah.
know, so it's like became a mental thing.
Sure. Sure.
So this year I was like, screw it. I'm gonna go back to that same spot
Right.
and sit there and try to call one in. And I sat there for probably 45 minutes or so. I was calling, and like you said, nothing was talking. I mean, it
Right.
was just quiet as can be. And the problem with that is, and I've messed myself up by sitting there and thinking, nothing's coming around. And I've gotten up and there's been one, probably just sitting there just waiting or doing something, just not
Sure.
coming in or whatever,
Yeah.
but scare them off. So whenever that happens and they're not talking, I typically sit there longer, just to be in case. And then I'll sit there and I'll question myself like, well, should I get up? I go, well, I'll give another 10 minutes. I'll give another 10 minutes. Well, this story is kind of anticlimactic for that spot because I did it, sat, and I was like, well, I got about, I don't know, maybe an hour. I don't remember how much sun I had left, but
Right.
decent kind of sunlight to where it's not like twilight. It was like I have about an hour left, and I was like, dang it! So that spot won again. I got up, but I'm glad I kind of did though because the spot I ended up walking to was just absolutely beautiful. And you know the spot I'm talking about,
Oh, yeah.
what it looked like. So I walked down this road, and there's a tank kind of on the way to this feeder pen, but it's a little further down. So the tank is between where I was and these feeders, kind of around the bend and down the road or whatever.
Right.
But next to the tank was a rather large little field, just book solid of bluebonnets.
Right.
So it was like perfect timing, at that moment, at that time to hunt turkey because the bluebonnets are just everywhere.
Sure.
Well, I came around the bend
yeah.
and I saw that field. And I was like, oh my god, that's awesome! I got to sit in there. I got to set up here. So I put my decoy right in the middle of
Awesome.
the field, the little field of bluebonnets, and tucked myself into a cedar tree.
Right.
Like with the cedar tree is kind of within what the oak trees or whatever there next to the pond.
Sure.
And I just kind of tucked myself in there. But what I like to do is sit kind of at an angle to where, because I'm right-handed, so I sit enough to where if I'm going to shoot kind of to the right of my body, I don't have to go so far because I'm kind of sitting with my right shoulder kind of into the bush, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
With my left shoulder out, so that way I can, rotate all the way to my left. So I have kind of a, 180 degree kind of comfortable shot there. So that's kind of how I sit.
Yeah, you have to, and that's I think it's a good tip. You've got to think about that stuff, and that's before you get too comfortable sitting in a spot, because again, being still is so key. You're exactly right. You got to be thinking about that, and have your body, because I mean either that or learn to shoot left-handed or right-handed depending on what's dominant for you.
Right. And I have shot a turkey left-handed, and I made that's when I made the decision to just kind of cock myself now going forward.
Yep. Yeah.
Because for whatever reason, I remember when I shot that turkey left-handed, my left shoulder was just destroyed for a long time.
I bet.
I guess it's just because I must have built up, the padding or something over time in my right shoulder.
Right. Fat reserves.
Fat padding, yeah, fat reserves been put over there. But the reason why I bring up how I was sitting though is because that's the important part of, or kind of an important part of this discussion. So I sit up and I sit down and I'm calling, and again, not a sound, not a word, not an answer, not a nothing. And I'm sitting there, it becomes a good 35 minutes, just calling, doing what I need to do. But all of a sudden I had this feeling, the feeling I'm talking about. You're like, I think there's something right there. Yep. And the way I was kind of angled was looking at kind of the edge of the pond, and there's about maybe, I don't know, 10 feet between the shore and this grove of trees. I was like, I feel like there might be something over there. And I just kept listening. I closed my eyes a little, try to focus and listen and everything. And I could hear something. And then all of a sudden, I mean, still no call, no gobble, no nothing.
Right.
All of a sudden I kind of hear the plume kind of move, not the big loud, but it was one of those when you see them, they kind of do it very casually.
Yeah. It's not the full blown drone. Okay.
Right.
Yeah.
It was like that, and I was like, "Oh man, okay." I'm pretty sure I heard that one. Sometimes I psych myself out, but pretty sure I heard that one, and two that it's right. He's right there.
Right.
So I'm like, okay, well, I'm gonna try to, I'm already kind of angled that way, so I'm glad I did that, purposely. So I'm like, okay, now I'm just gonna get my gun up in a little bit in position, and not 5 minutes later, he walks out and he's full looking for the decoy, basically.
Sure.
And I'm like, oh my god, all right. So now I turn into you, and I'm like, and then what do I see? Right behind him was gobbler number 2. And I'm like, oh my god, okay, there's 2 dudes here, and neither of them wanted to say a word, but they walked all the way to me, and it took all this time, and everything. So I'm like, okay. So I slowly raised up, and I aimed, and boom, put that first guy down. Oh my god, that is that's the greatest feeling in hunting in my mind.
Oh, it's great.
Oh yeah, just flopping around a little bit, then he died, so it wasn't too much of a flop type thing. And I was like, oh yes, and I have no idea what happened to his buddy, his second side buddy, as he ran off. But interesting note before I forget. So anyway, so I got that guy, so I went and was all excited, sent pictures, of course, all around, blah blah blah, and he was a great. I'll put it in this episode. Well, actually, we'll put both of our pictures in this episode. So remember to send me yours.
Yep.
But what was interesting about this guy was he had a pretty damn good beard and stuff like that. He was a good bird. What's interesting about him is that morning, one of your dad's friends was sitting out there, and he got I think it was a video. Remember? And he saw this guy and his buddy, the 2 guys that I saw, and people were wondering, how do you know that's those guys? I was like, well, it has to be this guy, because it doesn't have to, but I mean, what are the chances? I was looking back at the picture that you took of me, posing with him, and he was missing that one feather in the back, sticking out. So there's a gap there. Well, I was looking at his video from this morning with the 2 guys walking around, just kind of posing with each other down there, and sure enough, that one of them was missing that feather in that same exact spot in the video. Yeah, right.
That is crazy.
So his buddy is still out there, I guess.
Well, I was just about to say. Yeah. I almost kind of wonder if when I shot my Jake, if maybe he was there too.
Yeah,
I don't know. That's nuts.
Yeah, but I tell you what, that was it was a good feeling.
That's good. That's awesome. That's awesome. Well done. Well done. So, mine's a little less dramatic. I ended up, this year was supposed to be a year that I was hoping my oldest daughter Abby, I know we had talked about on our podcast too about trying to get out there and shoot, try to shoot a turkey, kind of her first big game critter, if you will. And unfortunately, the gun that I was asking for my birthday, just because I'm always asked what I want for my birthday, and I said, oh my gosh, this is perfect. Would just been outstanding for the kiddos. Unfortunately, we just couldn't find it. I'm still looking for it, and I will not give up, because it's an incredible gun for kids. I don't want to talk too much about it, because I'd like to do a piece about it, and I don't want to get everybody excited and they go out there and they can't find it, because they literally cannot find it. But unfortunately, it did not work out. Abby was a little too timid. That's fine. That's not a problem. And
so it's next year.
Yeah. So there's going to be next year, right? So and that's part of it. Us dads, I know, especially with the male children, you tend to get a little. Excited. My boy's about there chopping wood and eating raw fish, and hey, us fathers with girls are kind of the same way, but there's a pivotal moment there of, with me and Abby, and she's like, are you mad at me? And I'm like, of course not. I'm not mad at you. And I was disappointed, but I'm not going to tell her that, because I know she loves it and she just wasn't ready, and that's okay. So, Actually, it probably ended up being a good thing because I did end up shooting the 20 gauge with the 3-inch turkey load that I was given to her. Holy Toledo! Oh God, and I was like, "See, it didn't hurt." I'm like, "Oh my God, that hurt," But yeah. So anyway, another thing that I asked for, and I think it's another good tip for all you dads and adults out there hunting with kiddos, is I asked for a couple of pop-up blinds, just so that I could put them out there, sit with the girls, and they could, they could still kind of be, they could hang out and not have to worry about keeping the face mask over them, so on and so forth. Anyways, I end up getting a couple of those. And I have found, and this is just me, and maybe it's our turkeys or they just don't care. I don't know. I have found that the turkeys just don't really seem to care about pop-up blinds. So long as it's backed up against something that kind of cuts out the outlet or the outline. So we put that theory to the test a couple of Fridays ago. My good buddy and I went down to a place really near our house, actually, where we do some of our testings. We've heard some birds gobbling down there throughout the entire season. So we went out there with, the sun had been up for 10, 15 minutes. The birds are chirping and gobbling, and we just popped this blind up. And I was in shorts and Crocs, and this was just kind of a real quick, let's see what's going to happen. And we put our decoy out there. I also had I had Jake decoy out there too, and I kind of positioned them to where anything coming from the left and the right would just have a very clear picture of what's going on. And my goal, of course, was to get that big old nasty jelly-headed Tom to run or fly over there and just kick the snot out of my decoy. But yet again, it didn't happen. Seems to happen to everybody else but me, which is fine. But we were calling, every 10, 15 minutes. And I actually increased the amount of times I was calling because, again, as I kind of mentioned at the beginning of this podcast, that, a lot of the hens were off of the net or on the nest, so they really weren't available for breeding. So the gobblers were really out there roaming, and I did hear of a couple of birds that were running the decoys, things of that nature on the ranch. So I said, what, I'm gonna pick it up. I'm gonna let this girl. I mean, she's had her morning coffee. She is ready to rock and roll. So I'm gonna try to let Tom know that. So I picked it up a little bit. Just to my left was, and out of sight is a little creek crossing. I'd say that creek is 3 or 4 yards across, but when it flows, and it's definitely a natural barrier. The deer and the antelope and all that have no problems going through it, and but turkeys, I of course, when it's dry, I'm sure they'll walk right over, but I'm assuming they have to fly over it. But they talk about that sort of thing being a barrier. Fences, whether it's high fence or your typical 5-strand barbed wire fence. Trees or bodies of water. Sometimes birds can hang up for whatever reason. So, didn't really think about that, but right at 7 a.m. I was checking a work email, unfortunately, on my day off. But I kept, yeah, I know, believe me. I catch movement out the left hand side or left corner, peripheral vision, and there's a Tom. He's at 30 yards and he is puffed up, and of course I'm oh boy, oh right. God, here we go. And I give my buddy my cell phone. He's got my GoPro. I mean, he kind of looks like Inspector Gadget for those kids, those people born in the 80s will know who that is, with all of his little gizmos and gadgets coming off of him. Anyway, this bird had flown that creek, which I think was really impressive. Again, it was only a couple of yards, but the fact that they went over it, I think says something. And he had clearly heard me. He never gobbled, so he had heard it come in silent. I mean, those are the ones that sucks because it is so tough. You really got to be careful, And if I had been on the ground, and I wasn't paying attention, I could have spooked him, but. He started making his way right towards my decoys, and then I catch something I'm watching him, and I catch something to the right of him, and sure as hell enough, there's a hen. Obviously, with the hens, the hens are going to be attracted to other hens, So while I'm sitting there going bananas on my slate call, I called in another hen. And so unfortunately, that hen hung up at about 50 yards. So where does the big tongue go? Naturally, he's going to go for the live bait. So I spent about 10-15 minutes cussing that little hen, and she just stood there. And I think we've got some video of it, and this is one of the videos that my subscribers who will see on YouTube here shortly when I get to posting it. Listen, folks, I know my videos aren't great, but I'm getting better at it, and I hope you enjoy the footage. Please show me your love, show me your support.
Content and quality.
Yeah, exactly. So
no, they're great. They are great videos, and they get good info. So
yeah. So anyways, this dude was just acting like a total fool, drumming around this hen, and I don't know. The hen just was not interested. Kind of reminds me of with the females, like in 8th grade, acting like an idiot, and the hens are just sitting there. So. I'm getting a little nervous because the live bait is, man, it's tough. It's tough to beat. But every once in a while, if you're that persuasive, sometimes you can beat live bait. So this hen started to walk off a little bit, and I'm thinking no. And I was really tempted to take a shot because my turkey gun, the Remington 870 pump with a 26-inch barrel, extended Carlson turkey choke in there with 3.5-inch turkey loads is pretty ugly out to about 40 yards. So I probably could have popped him at that, but I'd rather not. I'd rather get him just a little bit closer. So as both these turkeys were leaving, I just was like, man, this sucks. Here he is right in front of me. So I got my slate call and I purred to him. I just went on there, and that was it. He didn't gobble, but he turned right around. He left the live hen and went to the fake hen, which was really exciting.
Yeah, nice.
So again, change it up a little bit, and the purr, boy, that was his big mistake. So he got lined up there, and I just jelly headed him. So it was really exciting.
It's a great video too.
Yeah. It was a fun. I got a good video. My buddy has got, video of me, and then my cell phone videoing the actual shot. So he ended up being, I think, about a 2-year-old bird, I believe. Didn't have huge spurs, but had a double beard, which was kind of cool. Yeah. And so obviously I was just real thrilled to have him. We actually ended up eating him that night, and we actually filmed a little video of him while I was cleaning. In fact, that's on our YouTube page right now, and I thought it was pretty good. So, anyways, it was a lot of fun. Later that weekend, I ended up shooting a Jake, and I've got video of that as well. Jakes are. There's, sometimes people say, okay, well, is shooting a Jake like shooting a dove off of a wire, or shooting a duck on a wire? guess what? I do all of it. So, here kind of my rule on
it's a male.
So that's true. That's true. Yeah. Kind of my rule on Jakes is as follows. If it's a really, really dry year, okay, and the hens aren't going to nest, meaning that we're not going to have a good hatch. We're not going to have a lot of baby turkeys out there. I sometimes will discourage everybody from shooting a Jake if they want to, unless it's a kid, of course, because the kids just need experience. But this year, it literally looks like Vietnam at Rancho Bandito. I mean, it is terrifying. All we need is rice huts, and we'd be there. It's you never know.
Jimi Hendrix music in the background.
Yes, right. So it's so nice out there right now. I just decided to pop a Jake, and got one of our good friends took the meat, and so it was a great time. It was a lot of fun. It was a really successful turkey season. In fact, I think it was one of the better ones we've had in quite a few years. So
we had a first turkey shot. Wasn't that Rich? Didn't he shoot his first?
Yeah, he did. Yeah, okay, yeah. So my brother-in-law shot his first turkey, shot a Jake. So that's great. And of course, here we go again. He's hooked,
Mm-hmm.
It was kind of funny because he was talking about all the gear he's going to go buy and all that kind of stuff. So see, that's you sure it was a Jake, but because of that, now my brother-in-law is going to go spend oodles of money on turkey gear, which is only going to benefit the turkey in the long run. So, yeah, it was awesome.
Yeah,
and I tell you, while we're talking about turkeys, one thing I've been doing some researching on. We have the Rancho Bandito has a county trapper, but I'm going to start doing some more serious coyote trapping as well on the on the inside of the property, because the county trapper is just inundated with other ranches and whatnot. But one of the things that I was doing some research on, I'll see if I can find it again, was talking about the predation of turkey nests. And I don't know if this is an actual fact or not, but they were saying that a pair of coons can actually wipe out a nest a day.
Wow, are you serious?
Yeah, which I've always known that coons and possums and skunks are really bad nest raiders and things of that nature. And I think this was being filmed like in Illinois, somewhere further north. And what the guy was saying was that that there's kind of a dead period, if you will, where a lot of the coons' spring and summer foods are not available yet, so they basically do nothing but eat eggs. I'm like, oh my God, that is terrifying. Now,
well.
Yeah. So now you got a double target on your head, Mr. and Mrs. Raccoon. So, yeah. I thought that was really kind of eye opening. I mean, we've always on the place we hunt, we've always got a shoot quickly, policy for coons and skunks and possums. But that fact was really kind of startling. So
interesting.
Yep.
Okay. Well.
Yep.
I know what we need to be doing this summer.
I believe me. Well, and with that being said, actually, some of the game camera pictures that we've had coming back, our coons kind of disappeared off our protein feeders, but guess who's back? I guess they're back from spring break.
Really?
We have got some chubby trash pandas that are sitting on the protein feeders. So, gosh, I am excited to get the traps back out there. I'm also very excited because I'm going to be putting my first pair of coon hoods.
Oh, yes.
On one of our protein feeders that is absolutely sacked every night by those turds.
Oh,
and we're talking some bull coons too. I mean, these guys are enormous, no neck, huge puppy tail, 15 rings. These are some boss animals. So,
well, folks, tell folks if they're wondering what a coon hood is, remind them what it is.
Right.
We did that podcast.
Yep.
With Hayden about him. So
right. Yeah, so the coon hood is the greatest invention in the entire world. In fact, I'm pretty sure that Hayden's going to be getting some sort of gigantic award. I mean, it's better than the internet, in my opinion. So the coon hood is an actual hood that is installed over the port of your protein deer feeder. Okay, so I did a kind of a recap. The deer protein feeders are the gravity feeders where you put in the pellets or corn or whatever, and then the deer can come up there, or deer, turkeys, whatever you're targeting, can come up there at any time and just take some feed out of there. Well, problem is the coons will climb up there, they'll get on there, and they'll clog up there. They'll dump out all the feed, or they'll scare deer off. I've seen it happen. So the coon hood is a device that basically fits again over the downspout of your protein feeder. And so it's genius. When the coon comes, from the top of the protein feeder and slides down the tube, his or her weight on the hood pushes it down, and so they can't stick their hands in there and get the protein. But when they get off of it, it comes back up, and the spout's completely open so that any of the game animals can eat out of it. It works the other way, to where if you've got kind of a shorter protein feeder, they've got it so where they can, I believe, they can actually reach up there, again, if you have a shorter protein feeder, and they can actually pull down on this thing. Well, when they do that, they pull the trap shut, or they pull the hood over the spout, so they still can't get the feed. So
that's great.
Anyways, I am seriously very, very thrilled to get out there and give these things a test, because this particular feeder, they have I will catch a bunch of coons here, but they're typically young ones, and again, I've got some out there. They're just they're Boone and Crockett. They're mountable
trophy.
Yeah. So I tell you what we're gonna do. I haven't told Hayden this yet, but I'm gonna get a couple of the cameras out there and watch some really frustrated coons. Hopefully, we'll actually catch the first audio of raccoons cussing. So we'll see.
That would be awesome.
Yeah, pretty excited to see that. So,
well, everybody, we recorded a pretty cool podcast with Hayden and Coonhood back in the beginning of April. So be sure to go back and listen to that one if you haven't heard it already.
Oh, for sure.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, cool. Yeah, I guess I don't know. I don't really have anything else. You got anything else?
You know, I don't. I mean, it's right now. It's early May, and the antlers should start popping. Of course, in some of the areas, some of the states, the antlers are already coming out. So again, man, that clock is ticking. It's not too late. It's not too late to get mineral out there. It's not too late to do any sort of supplemental feeding. Something you want to start thinking about, especially in the southern states, is water. I think we've all been very blessed, knock on wood, with lots of abundant rainfall. But as we all know, especially folks here in Texas, it can be pouring one day and then absolute Sahara Desert the next. So, be looking at, be thinking about water troughs. If your troughs are, if you're on a hunting lease or a ranch that's got cattle troughs, you might want to volunteer to try to get those things cleaned out for the rancher. Yeah, he or she would definitely love that. Have a nice, relatively clean water source for your deer. So,
yep.
And all animals. And don't forget to put a camera up by there. That is the one thing that every animal and bird and whatnot has in common is they all need water. So they all congregate along water. So.
I tell you, it makes me nervous about maybe next year, so that we've had several great years of rain. But my point is,
no, we're not going to talk. I know the old 5 years, and next year it's going to be the Dust Bowl. Oh God.
Well, but what is it's kind of the opposite principle of like when do you fix your roof? It's when it's not raining, right? But now.
That's true.
It's when do you start collecting water? Well, you want to do that when it's raining.
That's true. That's true.
For the time.
I'm sorry, I jumped the gun. I thought you.
Oh no! I mean, you were not wrong in jumping the gun because I don't want to jinx anything.
Because I thought you were going to go. Well, every 5 years we have rain, then every 60 years it's no rain. I'm like,
I just remember the cycles where I'm like, man, I do not remember last time it rained. And then it's like, man, I don't remember last time it was kind of a drought.
For real. Well, and it's funny talking about rain. The place that we hunt on average gets about 35 inches. That'll be about normal. And of course, some years we've had 50. I think last year we had 40 some odd. Already this year we're almost approaching 15 inches. So that is super exciting. If we can get some more, just a couple of, I call them top off rains, and then maybe a sweet little shower in the skin melting months of July and August. And then, guys, of course, I really don't care what goes on in September because I'm in La La Land anyway. And then we've made it back to the raining season, and that's the way it goes. So, oh, man.
Well, maybe if it doesn't rain as much this September as last. Sorry
Seriously.
for bringing that up.
Oh, my God. It was October.
Was it
October. Yeah. It's like, hey, what do you do with a foot of rain? Oh, well, not much. Right. Foot of rain makes a lot of duck habitat. Yeah, that was crazy. So,
all right. Well, all right. Awesome. Well, that got me fired up talking about turkey. Makes me sad that we're getting around this end of the season, but there's always another year.
Oh yeah.
I tell you, I'm telling you, someday, hopefully not in the too far distant future. And I told my wife this. I said I will hunt turkey at least every single weekend of turkey season.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Someday.
Oh yeah.
As long as my tags last,
No, of course. Oh, naturally. I'd love to go to deep East Texas and get an Eastern turkey. Do the
what is it, Grand Slam? Whatever.
Yeah.
Definitely a bucket list.
Yes,
so
I'm excited. All
right. Well, maybe someone will invite us one day. Invite
the people. That'd be nice. That would be
awesome. All right. Well, you got anything else?
I'm good to go, my friend. It was a good time.
Yes, absolutely. Just everyone out there, as a reminder, be sure to get on our email list so you get our killer hunting deals that we send out on occasion delivered straight to your inbox. And you can do that by texting on your mobile phone the word bandit to 345-345. And anyone else out there who might have a product or service they offer in the hunting space and you'd like to introduce it to our listeners, please let us know. We'd love to have a chat with you. We'd love to get you on the podcast and let everyone know about what you're offering. Email us at howdy@feedbandit.com, or you can go to feedbandit.com/promote and fill out the form there and shoot us a message. So I guess with that, I will sign off and say goodbye to everybody. Have a good rest of the spring. We'll see you on the next podcast.
Thanks for listening to the Feed Bandit podcast. If you want to find new and innovative hunting gear and service providers not typically offered through the traditional big box hunting stores, come on over and join the hunt at feedbandit.com/join. When you join, as a bonus, you'll get our entertaining free e-guide of unique hunting tips and tricks. And a reminder to all you small businesses, feed stores, gear inventors, or entrepreneurs in the hunting space, if you'd like to get more exposure to potential customers by being featured on the Feed Bandit podcast, please let us know. We'd love to discuss what we can do for you and your business. Go to feedbandit.com/promote. We hope you enjoyed this episode. If you did, please give us a rating and review on iTunes, as it would really help us out. Go to feedbandit.com/iTunes. Thanks everyone for listening. Until next time, please remember to support your local feed store.